everyone, Sarah from Open Hearts Guidance here. This is how much I don't care what people think. Sarah in a towel, no makeup on. Accepting myself for exactly who I am. That's it. That's what I've been going to do. It's like, if I got a message to share, I'm just gonna have to share it, no matter what. So, yeah, I've had a really nice bath this morning. Dyed my hair. Actually, it's kind of going to be a bit like this colour, but dark. Can you see it there? Look at my nose going red. Oh, I'm getting cold. It's okay. It's okay. We're cool. We're cool. We're cool. Yeah, so during the meditation, I had a message come through, and it's about children. So I don't know if you've got children. I assume you have, if this has come across you. Come into your feed, come up, you know what I'm saying. But I've got 2 children and single parent, 50-50 co-parent, 6-year-old and a 9-year-old. And it was quite an interesting one, because when I do have my nights with them, and it is like really, really intense, and you know, they've got their own little personalities and they're very high energy. Very high energy. My girl's an Aquarius like me. My son is a Gemini. And yeah, the message helped me see them in a different light. So you know, days when like you can just get so overwhelmed and you just think, oh, I just want them to do as they're told. I just want them to do what I say. Like we're the controllers of them. And I just realized how like wrong that is. Like, who are we to control these little people who we're raising? So this was the message. I'll read it out because I wrote it down as soon as I came out of the meditation, and then I'll go into it a bit more. But so children, what feels good to them to do moment by moment? So it's almost like a reminder to live like a child, because they just live with like, oh, what do I want to do now? Oh, I want to do this. And then they get really excited about it and they just want to do it, and they're really like, and then as a parent, it can be like, oh, no, don't, no. I mean, I used to hear that all the time. I'd have a really, really fun idea or want to do something, I get all excited about it, and then my mum would be like, oh no, Sarah, no. Like, it's too much trouble, too much to ask, too, you know, just too much. When it was just a really good, fun idea. But then I sort of was taught that my ideas weren't very good, because it was always met with that, oh no, stop, you know? And I notice myself doing that to my children sometimes, and I really catch myself when I do. And apologize to them. You know, I'm not the perfect parent. I'm not claiming to be the perfect parent, but where I'm healing my inner child, I'm understanding them a lot more. And then hopefully they will grow up not needing to heal their inner children quite as much as our generation, you know? So yeah, the rest of the message was, who are we as unhealed adults with wounded inner children to tell our children what feels right to them? We can't. We don't know. We think we know, but we don't. They are their own unique little person with their own wants and needs and ways of expression. Who are we to judge them or tell them what they think or feel is wrong? Obviously, we advise them when something seems unsafe or to be cautious. You know, we can advise them But in general, they should be free to at least express what they think and feel with no judgment. That doesn't mean they always get their way, but at least they are listened to and validated for who they are and accepted as just that. So it is difficult to do when you are overstimulated and overwhelmed and they're driving you up the flipping wall. I get that. Trust me, I do. But I just think it's like, it's food for thought there, to like look at your children in a different way and think, oh, they're like their own little unique person. I just saw 555. Oh, change. Yeah, and like, you know, my son has different needs than my daughter, and you know, when she's angry, she needs time by herself. When my son's angry, he'd prefer me to be there with him and cuddle him. You know, it's little things like that, or things that they enjoy. They've got different likes and dislikes and things that they find fun. And we're all different in that way. And children are no different. You know, they're like, if anything, we should be learning from them how to live our lives, because if we followed everything our inner children wanted, it would lead us to our abundance and lead us to happiness, pure joy, excitement, because that's how children see the world before they're made to go to school and have to do all that stuff. You know, and the programming start in their little heads, but or children are not very kind, and then they start getting, actually that's quite interesting. I watched I didn't know that this was going to go this way, but it's coming out, so I'm going to say it. K-pop Demon Hunters, and I was explaining to the kids how realistic it is for the times at the moment. Like, it is the light versus the dark. And I was saying that, like, as they get older, someone might say something to them and that becomes imprinted in their brains as truth when it's not. And that is the darkness trying to infiltrate. So it wasn't to scare them or anything like that. They weren't scared. I just said, like, you know, when you get a thought where it's like, oh, I'm really annoying, or I'm too much, I said to them, if you get a thought like that, say, shut up, darkness. I know I'm not like that. Because I said deep down, they know that they're not too much, or they know they're not these things, you know, that other people might project and say. And I know it's difficult explaining it to young children, but I just thought I'd plant that little seed of, like, if someone says something not very kind to them and they start believing it, then they can tell that thought to do one and replace it with, no, I know that I'm not that. And they'll be so assured of themselves and confident in themselves, you know? That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Yeah, and also another thing on the subject of children. I tried something with my daughter the other day and it actually did sink in. So she was going to school and she was saying, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. I hate school. I don't like, you know, I've got no friends. And she has got friends, but they fall out all the time, you know. And I said to her, like, I stopped her before she went into class and I just said, like, the experiment that I've got on my channel, if you want to go back and see that, is, I think I called it, like, I want to play a game, or like play with your emotions. Yeah, so I said to her, right, say to yourself out loud right now, emotion, bring up the feeling of excitement. And she was like, I don't want to. And I went, Daisy, just do it. I was like, just say emotion. She went, emotion, bring up the feeling of excitement. And then I just looked at her and I went, let me know when you feel that. And she was just there looking all miserable, and then she just went. I just saw this little smile on her face, like, And I said, that's how easy it can be to switch the negative emotion to a good one. I said, just speak to yourself and tell your emotions to change, and they will. And she was like, wow. And then she told me later on that day that she'd done it in school, like quietly to herself, just said, emotion make me feel happy or something like that. And she said it worked. So I think I'm onto something there. Yeah, so I think next time, yeah, the kids get too, if they are too much, you know, to you in that moment, just look at them and just think, oh, so grateful to have you and love you so much. And just think of them as their own individual little people with their little brains and their little minds and how they work and stuff. I just think that's really, it's adorable. And then I can't be mad at them anymore. I'm just like, oh, yeah. Anyway, it's hard. Being a parent is not easy. Hardest job in the world, especially if you're doing it alone. So give yourself some credit if you are doing it alone. It is not easy. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say here. I hope you're all doing really, really well, and I'll catch you in another one.